catch this? Spoilers ahead. Reacher Season 3 ends on a high note, where the titular character faces one of his biggest challenges, but still emerges victorious. Unlike the first 2 seasons of the Amazon Prime Video detective series, Reacher Season 3 begins on a strange note, where the Alan Ritchson character does not seem like his usual self. However, a twist soon reveals that Jack Reacher is undercover for the DEA and has been putting up an act to win the trust of a suspicious rug seller, Zachary Beck. Flashbacks reveal that he only agreed to join forces with the DEA because his undercover mission allowed him to eliminate Xavier Quinn, the man who murdered his MP colleague Dominique Kohl. Since Quinn happens to control Beck's secret gun-running business, Reacher hopes to catch and kill him through his covert operation. However, Quinn proves to be one of the Reacher's most dangerous adversaries. Despite facing many challenges throughout Season 3, Reacher, Neagley, and the DEA manage to take down the bad guys before it is too late. How Reacher and his team rescue Teresa and kill Quinn in Season 3's ending. Reacher takes on their biggest challenge, while Neagley and the crew handle the rest. After the events from Reacher Season 3, Episode 7's ending, the titular character realizes that Quinn tricked them into believing that the gun sale was happening at the salvage yard. However, Jack Reacher and his 2 DEA allies, Duffy and Villanueva, still handle the situation by taking advantage of the crossfire between Quinn's men and the ATF agents. With what follows, they even take control of 2 trucks that head to Beck's mansion and safely enter the house's compound without raising Paulie's suspicions. However, the season's final arc begins when Paulie grows increasingly suspicious of the parking spot of one of the trucks and heads towards it. Realizing that only he can handle Paulie, Reacher asks Neagley and the DEA agents to head to the house while he prepares for his final showdown with the giant. In the house, Neagley disguises herself as a waiter, while Duffy sets out to rescue Teresa. In the meantime, Villanueva heads to Richard's room to rescue him. Soon after Duffy finds herself in Teresa's room, Quinn's buyer, Nasser, shows up, hoping to make the best of his time with Teresa. Duffy initially seems apprehensive about attacking him because it could raise an alarm and alert his men. However, she eventually throws her caution to the wind and kills the man. After a final battle unfolds between the heroes and the villains, Reacher almost gets Quinn. However, the Russian mobsters Quinn had loaned money from suddenly show up and try to take Quinn away. Neagley forces them to hand him back to them by not only offering the money Quinn was going to earn from his buyers, but also using a diffused grenade to threaten them. With this, the mobsters agree to leave Quinn behind. While Neagley and the DEA agents clear up the remaining mess, Reacher avenges Dominique Kohl's death by first jogging Quinn's memory of how he killed her and then shooting him dead with a shotgun. How Reacher defeats Paulie in Season 3's finale. He uses his brain and his brawn. One of the most gripping scenes in Reacher Season 3's finale is when Alan Ritchson's Jack Reacher sets out to take down Olivier Richter's Paulie. After building up to the fight scene almost throughout its runtime, Reacher Season 3 delivers a slam-bang fight sequence where Reacher nearly dies after getting thrashed by the 7-foot Titan. During their fight, the 2 characters even end up falling into the rock pit that was previously used by Quinn's men to dump bodies in the ocean. Reacher seems to drown Paulie in the sea before heading out to the mansion, but to his surprise, Paulie somehow makes it out alive. A final battle between the 2 characters ensues in the mansion's guardhouse. Paulie again puts his strength on full display and tries to overpower Reacher. However, Reacher cleverly pulls the bullet from the gun's belt and plugs its barrel while fighting Paulie. He then makes Paulie believe he has the upper hand by letting him stand behind the gun. As soon as Paulie tries to shoot, though, the gun's barrel explodes in his face and kills him. After Reacher and the crew save the day, Neagley says she finally understands why he does what he does. She claims he does not fight crime just to set things right and protect the little guy. Instead, he does it because he hates who think they can just get away with things. In Lee Child's Persuader, which Reacher Season 3 adapts, Jack Reacher quotes the same line when Duffy asks him the same question. By making Neagley steal Reacher's line from the books, the show seemingly tries to establish that she knows him more than he knows himself. Neagley's line also highlights that Reacher's sense of justice may not always be driven by the right things. As Duffy responds in the book, he produces the right results for all the wrong reasons. Reacher, too, does not deny this, explaining why he asks Neagley how it took her so long to figure that out. The quote shows that Reacher is not a typical hero who always sets things right, by doing what is morally correct. He is more of a morally gray anti-hero, who leaves a massive trail of blood behind him and is often driven by darker motivations. However, even though his reasons are often flawed, Reacher always ends up serving the greater good by punishing the bad guys. Why Duffy parts ways with Reacher before he does. Duffy is more like Reacher than he realized. In Reacher Season 1's ending moments, the Alan Ritchson character had a tough conversation with Roscoe, where he had to explain to her how his lifestyle would never let him pursue a long-term relationship. Roscoe let him go, but wrote him her number on a Clark bar wrapper, hoping that they would meet again. Reacher Season 2's Dixon, too, was attached to the character towards the end, but she let him leave because she understood he loved the open road and his freedom more than anything else. Fortunately for Reacher, Duffy does not try to complicate things for him. Before he can end things with her on a positive note, she comes up to him and tells him that she is not the stick-to-you, make-it-last kind of person. With this, she establishes that she is a lot like Reacher, especially when it comes to how she perceives romantic relationships. Reacher, too, is relieved that she gives him the same parting speech he usually delivers to the women he is romantically involved with. Reacher's advice to Richard Beck explained. Reacher encourages Richard to live his life on his own terms. Richard Beck feels lost and clueless after his father's demise. As he watches law enforcers swarm all over his father's mansion, he realizes that he is about to lose everything. However, Reacher shows him the way by handing him the keys to a car and encouraging him to do the one thing he had always thought of, grabbing a set of car keys, blowing through the gate, and disappearing. He also asks him to grab all the cash from the house and leave before the feds find any of it. Before following Reacher's advice, Richard opens up about feeling bad that he did not get to see more of his father's good side while he was still alive. Reacher, as always, says a lot by only sharing a few words of advice. When Richard asks him what he does when he cannot forget awful things from the past, Reacher says he finds the awful thing and kills it. With this, Reacher teaches him a valuable lesson. One must forget things one cannot control and take action to change what one can. All deaths in Reacher Season 3's finale explained. The closing episode features one tragic death. Many villains die in Reacher Season 3's finale. Thankfully, even though it looked like Season 3 was foreshadowing Villanueva's death, he survives the closing battle and happily retires from the DEA. Reacher Season 3 characters like Paulie, Quinn, and Nasir meet the fate they deserved after the heroes shoot them dead. Unfortunately, even Zachary Beck does not make it out alive. Towards the end of Reacher Season 3, Beck redeems himself by agreeing to help the heroes and telling his son how he makes him proud. However, Beck meets a tragic fate when he puts his life on the line to save his son, Richard. Although Richard Beck was initially established as one of Season 3's villains, his bond with his son and desire to change eventually made him likable. Owing to this, his tragic demise in Reacher Season 3 is as sad as Russo's from Season 2. How Reacher Season 3 sets up Season 4. It won't be long before trouble will find him again. Child novel. By walking through all the story beats in Lee Child's Persuader, Reacher Season 3 ends on a conclusive note without directly paving the way for another season. Its ending, where Jack Reacher returns to embracing the open road, only promises that the Alan Ritchson character will eventually end up in a town. As always, trouble will find him, and he will somehow be in the crosshairs of another set of criminals. Thanks for watching.